Cup. We need some cup jokes. Anyone got a cup joke? We got a couple of jokes coming up. Oh, that's a really good one. Couple of jokes. Get it? Couple of jokes. I made a creature and it's only got a couple of eyes. Okay, fix the hair. So this is a basic automata. Now it moves because of this mechanism inside here. On this one, I've cut it open so you can get a better picture. You can see I have a bottle cap that's spinning around and it pushes this one up. So this is the axle, this is the cam, and we'll call this the rod. This bottle cap, the white one, it follows this cam. Here I have my crank. Right? So when I spin it all the way around, you can see that it pushes this cap up, making my creepy bunny show its teeth. Rah. Rah. All right, enough of that. Let's get started. Okay, here are the supplies. Cup, stapler, some scrap paper, plastic caps from bottles, a thumbtack to poke holes, bamboo skewers or chopsticks if you want, duct tape, scissors, and over here I have something heavy, a coin and a nail. I also have my handy tools nearby. Okay, let's start by looking at the first one I made. I have some holes in a cup, I have a bamboo skewer for an axle, and then I have this bottle cap for the cam. So we're gonna need to poke some holes. However you poke holes is fine. I'm using a thumbtack. You can also use a seam ripper for sewing. Grab your cup and then grab the bottle cap for your cam. Your cam needs to be able to spin around freely inside the cup. Go ahead and poke a hole just about right in the middle. Now I want to poke a hole directly in the opposite side. Once you have the small holes, you'll probably have to make the holes bigger. You can use a pen. I'm using a nail. Go ahead and take the bamboo skewer and put it through the cup. Great, this is a good start. Next, I'll tape the two cups together. I'm going to cut two small pieces to hold the cups together while I tape the rest of it. I take the two small pieces and get them ready. Now I'll cut a long piece of tape and wrap it all the way around the joint. So I've got the two cups taped together. Now I need to poke a hole straight down from the top, just like that one. Take your skewer or something pokey and push down in the middle. Now it's important that the bamboo stick can fall through this hole freely, so I'll make the hole just a little bit bigger using a pen. Now we need to poke a hole in this plastic cap. Go ahead and get something to protect the table. You can use a nail or a thumbtack to start. We want to poke a hole that's not in the center. So find a place on the side. Make sure you're pressing into something to protect the table and press down. If you're using a nail, you can press down, and sometimes you can take something else kind of heavy and tap on it. Now it's important not to make this hole too big. We want it to stay stuck onto this skewer. So there we go, I have my axle and I have my cam. If you're using a metal cap, you'll need to use a nail to poke a hole and a hammer or some sort of metal tool like this. Once you've gone through, remember there's going to be some sharp edges where you've pounded through the cap. Go ahead and take the bamboo skewer for your axle and poke it through the sides of the cup. Once you have one side through, take one of your cams, press it into the bamboo skewer, and you'll try to get the bamboo skewer to come out the other side. This takes a little bit of wiggling. If your hole is too small, you can go ahead and make it a little bit bigger, but be careful. If it's too big, you'll have to start over. Once you have it through, you need to keep going so that this cam is directly in line with the hole you've made. Something like that, so it's directly in line with the hole. One recommendation is that you make a little mark on your axle so you know where it's lined up. Go ahead and test this by giving it a spin. It should spin pretty smoothly in there. Next, it's time to make the cam follower. The cam follower will sit on top of this blue cam. It's right there, it's the white one. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this open so you can see what's happening in here. So you can see when I crank this, the blue cam is pushing the white bottle cap, the cam follower, up, and then it's falling back down. Let's go ahead and make the cam follower. Grab a bottle cap and a bamboo skewer. You're gonna need to poke a hole directly in the center of this, so get something to protect the table. Once again, you can start with a thumbtack, and then you can make the hole bigger with a nail or even scissors. Just remember to push down into the table, not into your hand. Once you have a hole, go ahead and poke the skewer through the hole. Great, this cam follower is ready to go into the cup. If the axle is in the way, you might have to slide it out and then reinsert it. Now's a good time to test it. Go ahead and spin the axle and see if this rod goes up and down. Now I notice this is wobbling quite a bit. My creature that I put in here will act to stabilize this. Next, let's add a little bit of weight. I'm gonna tape this to the skewer right here, so it's a little bit heavier. Okay, next, it's time to make your creature. I recommend starting with something very simple, just to make sure it works, and then spending more time on the creature. Notice that I'm not cutting directly on my line. That's because all this paper is in the way. I'm just gonna cut roughly around my object, and now this is a lot easier to cut out. Once you have your prototype creature, take a little bit of tape and stick it onto the skewer. You'll probably have to adjust this a few times, so just use a little bit of tape. One thing that I'm noticing about this design is that it's not going up very high. I can change the shape of the cam so that this goes up higher. I'm gonna use another bottle cap I used from a different project. Alright, so I've spent some time drawing this three-eyed creature. Once again, I'll make a rough cut, so it's easier to cut more detailed. You know what, I'm thinking this thing needs some eyelashes. So the last step is to attach your creature to the rod that comes up and the cup edge. I recommend attaching it to the rod first. The next thing you can do is staple these hands to the edge of the cup. That was perfect timing. Did you hear the gecko laugh at the same time my cup creature came out of the cup? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so there are a few things I want to point out. At the bottom of the cup here, I've added some tape. I did this because I noticed that the bottle caps had a rough surface on there. Now, I want to make sure that these can slide easily because this one's spinning and this one's not. So you might need to add a little bit of tape right there. Another thing I've added is a little handle to spin it better. This one just has a little clip around some tape, and this one I've added a little crank, you can see here.